What's up, y'all? Again, welcome to the Grad School Success Summit. We are in our 5th year of the Graduate School Success Summit, and I'm so happy that you all are here. And we have a really great session today full of tips and resources for your grad school experience. Yesterday, we talked about community building and crafting your journey. The next day, the day before on Monday, we talked about taking care of yourself as far as your mental wellness as well as your financial wellness with our budgeting session. And so today we're going to give you some more practical strategies and practical practical strategies during this session with the lovely Alexis Sims, aka Lex with the text. So a little bit about Alexis. She is, is a literary social media platform dedicated to amplifying the work of Black authored books for diverse readers. So I know she's gonna have so much amazing advice for us today. Feel free to continue to throw any questions you have in the chat so that we can answer them during our Q&A session. Alexis, I'm gonna turn it over to you, and thanks for being a part of the Grad School Success Summit team.
Yeah, no problem. Let me make sure. I'm not on mute, am I? Okay, no, I'm not. Okay. So hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. This is an amazing summit and it's been super helpful. And so I just hope to also be a help to you guys today. I am going to be presenting on It's a Balancing Act, essential tips and resources to make your life easier in graduate school. Once again, my name is Alexis Sims Haynes. Just got married, so I'm like working on pronouncing my hyphenated name. And I'm at the University of Texas School of Public Health here in Houston, the UT Health Science Center. So let's hop right in. So a little bit more about my background. So I feel like I've been in school forever. I went to Spelman College for undergrad. I was a biology major. I initially wanted to do medical school, which I'm sure a lot of people have very similar situations. So I initially wanted to do medical school, and I, took some internships and was not into it at all. So I decided to add public health as my minor. And once I graduated in 2015, I went straight to Morehouse School of Medicine in their Master of Public Health program. It was next door to Spelman, so I really enjoyed my time there. I got a lot of skills and I really honed in on the research area of interest that I am in now, which is sexual health. I do HIV prevention research right now, but when I first started at Morehouse School of Medicine, a lot of my research was on HPV vaccination among adolescents. So yeah, now I'm still in sexual health, but kind of have transitioned, and my research journey has kind of evolved throughout my graduate school experience. So still going. I left Morehouse School of Medicine and went to where I'm at right now, which is the University of Texas Health Science Center at Houston. I absolutely love it. I'm happy with my program. I've been fully supported. Right now, I'm a 6th year student. So I'm like so tired, but I'm, getting her done. I'm at the last final stage of the program. So I'm finishing up my dissertation proposal and I will be defending soon. So you guys wish me luck. I'm so ready to be done. All right. Okay, so just like through my journey in grad school, I have learned so much about like different tools and things to do to balance. I mean, I started in 2017, so to now it's been a good while, and so I've pretty much found my own groove, my way of balancing things, tips, things that have helped me through my qualifying exams. So I tried to just come up with some slides to show what I was thinking and what advice was given to me when I first got into the program. So this is going to be more about now you're in grad school. This is the approach once you are accepted to a program. So one of the first things and the best thing that someone told me, and it might have been my advisor or some other students, but was to connect the research that you're interested in doing for your dissertation or for your thesis, kind of use that in your coursework. Most classes in my program, we took 2 years of classes, and then we took our preliminary exam. So most classes, you're going to have to write papers and do projects. So it was a lifesaver when someone told me, do all your assignments kind of with what you plan on doing for your dissertation, because you're going to be looking at articles and you can just start storing them. And so that was so helpful to me, because I was able to just already have like a pocket folder album full of articles already set aside, even as I first entered the dissertation portion of the degree. So that was just really important. That I want to tell the world to just, make sure you connect what you're doing with what you're planning. I think it's like a way to kind of make your life easier. You're kind of bringing that time down that you would have spent. So yes, so coursework in your independent research. So when you're assigned projects in grad school, consider how they may relate or be applied to your current research goals. So I did most everything around sexual health or PrEP, which is a HIV prevention drug. And so a lot of times if I had to do a paper in class or a project or was writing a theory paper, I always try to do theories that were founded in principles that would be applicable to PrEP programming, interventions in that space. And so in practice, connecting your research goals to your assignments will allow you to better understand the parallels and what you're learning in class, and then what you want to do in the future. Of course, all of this will help in your future career as well. Another piece of advice that I was given, and that I'm so thankful that I did, I even did this before I got into school when I was applying, I consulted with others. I feel like I was annoying people, and I didn't even care. I mean, most people are willing to help you. So I used to email people. I used to, stop people in the hall. I used to even like sometimes DM people if they were students that I, know went to the school. I would just, figure out like, what is your experience? And I've only had, good feedback so far. Everyone's always willing to tell you their tips. Everyone feels like they've have figured something out in grad school. So people are most likely going to be helpful. Older students, people who previously took a class like right before I was about to take it, I would reach out to them, just like, okay, can you tell me about this professor? Can you tell me about maybe like what kind of projects I can look forward to doing in this class? Any tips? And so that just was always so helpful. And I would even advise doing this for your qualifying exams. At my program, we were assigned a mentor. And my mentor in the program was a year above me, and she helped me so much, especially with the qualifying exam. Obviously, she had just taken it, so she had come up with some study tools that were really helpful to her and shared those with me. And it made my studying process a lot less daunting. And I wouldn't have had that if I wouldn't have just invested in speaking to my mentor or other students that took the test. I don't mind annoying people. And so of course, like keeping in contact with your professors, same old, go to their office hours. And this is really, especially if you are in your first early stages of your PhD or master's program, just in your classes, I would definitely say, always connect with them, talk to them, pick their brain. If you want to know about what they're researching, look at their publications, previous presentations they've given. Usually most professors have their CVs on the school's website. So I would literally always go and look. And sometimes I would look at their CVs, how they were drafted, and kind of use it as a template for mine. I was just always finding ways to improve and use taking advice from other people. So my advisor has been amazing. She's been so supportive, even in personal things that have come up in my life. She's always been supportive and found ways to give me resources to make my time at the school really helpful. And so then, once again, another thing I would say is focus on relationships. meaning like alumni, like people who have just recently graduated, like straight up out of your program, like go ahead and like talk to them. Okay, like how was this last stretch of school? I've definitely been doing that, especially now since I'm at the end, kind of like what job opportunities are out there. I've always found that really helpful. So next, I came up with some like questions that would be really helpful to people when you first get into the program. If you're like, okay, like what do I ask when I ask for help? So these are some things that I would ask like faculty members, the expectations for new students. What about like a student's performance before the preliminary exam? Like how do you choose who goes into, how do faculty members choose who they want to work with in their own personal labs? You can ask questions about like, how do you do your office hours? Do you do online meetings? And it's a little different now too with COVID. So some professors may only want to meet virtually. It really depends. So these were just a bunch more questions. Let's see. What have people done once they've graduated? And are there any conferences that students typically go to? That was like a big question I've always wanted to ask my advisor, because I just wanted to always be tapped in and making sure my skills weren't getting dull. And then, so that's for faculty. And then I came up with some questions also to ask other graduate students. So fellow students, older students, like unofficial mentors, like what's unexpected about graduate school when you first started, what keeps you motivated, how do you cope with work-life balance, what are some fulfilling experiences that you've had so far, like give me the plug. I always am like asking people, like, and people always want to help. So why did you choose this department? Who do you like in the department? What classes does this department offer that I should take? What classes should I avoid? Things like that. And so, of course, like, it's grad school. You're going to be doing a lot of reading articles. I feel like that's like my unofficial job title. I just read articles. Like I can do that all day. I have tabs open. But of course, like I have throughout this journey have learned to just really perfect my skimming skills. I'm able to just kind of look at an article and pull the gist out of it. Of course, that was like something I had to learn over time, but just being in grad school, you're going to be reading a lot of articles, so you might as well come up with a quick way to get through things quickly. So looking at different section headings, chapters, different bullet points, like depending on the publication, they even have like a key points at the beginning or end of an article. Those are always really helpful. Sometimes I jump to the conclusion, the abstract, of course. Those are all things to make your life easier. So you're not literally reading every single article from top to bottom. That's exhausting, and who has time for that? And if it's not related to your topic or interest, just move on to the next article. You don't have to force yourself to read things that aren't really going to help you. All right. So, and then I just wanted to add in some productivity tips. I'm still learning how to evolve and incorporate these tips into my life to this day, but I like to break things down into smaller tasks, do something one day, kind of split it among the week if I need to have it done by the end of the week. That really helps. I'm always trying to be cognizant about being acknowledging when I get things done, like celebrating the things that I was able to contribute or finish that day. Even if it was just one thing, I want to, encourage you guys to be purposeful about giving yourself a little pat on the back for doing that. And then I would say use a reward system. So if you want to, watch a movie after you finish, so like, okay, like I'm going to kick it once I finish this section of my paper, I get to watch this movie or binge this show. So like that helps, of course. And then of course, creating reminders. Like I get so many alerts and alarms on my phone because it just helps me stay on track. And there are apps for that. You can, have an accountability partner where you guys check in with each other. Those are things that have always helped. All right, so Some things that I really am excited to share, some tech tools that I've been using this whole program and really just throughout grad school in general. Using a citation manager is probably about the number one thing that you can do to save yourself a lot of time. Like I don't know what I would do without the citation manager. I mean, I'm sure like in high school, I was literally writing things out and it was doing it, manually, but the citation manager has changed the game. Which one that I use is RefWorks, because RefWorks is free. So I've started using that about probably my second year in the program. So I didn't start my dissertation until about third year. And so I had a bunch of articles already saved in RefWorks going into my dissertation because I knew it was going to be around HIV prevention. I know that there's, of course, other ones. I know some people use EndNote, Mendeley, and then Zotero. And those are all that pretty common. Professors use sometimes, like my advisor will want me to send over my RefWork, like bibliography page or link so she can see it too, because she uses RefWorks. So things can be shared. It's super helpful. And yeah, so if you haven't heard of these tools, like it's great because you can incorporate it into your Word document. It can literally just be a tab. And if you're on the internet, you can have a bookmarked RefWorks little button and you can literally press it and it will take whatever screen you're on or whatever article you're reading and kind of add in the publication information, the year it was published, the title, apps, whatever you want, and it'll save it in a folder and you can then go to the website and see everything. Game changer, game changer, game changer. And I would also say, if you are looking for ways to, so you're finish your qualifying exams, you're going into the dissertation, right? If you're looking, or thesis, if you're looking for funded projects, like we of course got to live, we have to still buy food and everything. So I was really adamant about finding a project that I could come on as a diversity supplement applicant or something like that, where I would still be getting poured into, not just with the research exposure, but pay as well. And so the NIH Reporter is a site that's been super helpful to me and to other students I know. And I'm not sure if it's widely known, but you can go on the website and look at the school you're going to be researching at, your school, and you can type in maybe a faculty member or see who at your school has current funding from the NIH. And most times you can then, reach out to that faculty member. It shows, like what the project is or what the randomized controlled trial is or things like that. And you can then reach out to that faculty member and be like, hey, like I see you have funding. I'm going to my dissertation. Is there any way that you are looking to bring on a student or bring on a dissertation student? That has been a game changer because it benefits them as the PI or as the professor. It benefits them because they are getting a student to come on paid, a part of their grant, to help put out more articles for their project or their intervention or their clinical whatever. So I was able to do that for, I'm at the School of Public Health, but the School of Nursing is around the corner. I was able to get a grant from the NIH for doing a 1-year project. It was $100,000 added on to Dr. Santamaria's project. I was able to basically get credit and kind of help her write that grant, submit it. And so that was a new experience for me. And I found it on NIH Reporter. And I wouldn't have had that experience if I hadn't seen it. I hadn't seen that she had a current grant funded project and she was absolutely willing to bring on a student. And it really was super helpful. So you can do that for any school. So let's see. So Grammarly is another tool that I use for writing. You can insert it as an add-in on your Word doc. You can use it in your emails online. It's super helpful. I'm sure people have heard about Grammarly for now. It's pretty popular, but it gives comprehensive feedback on spelling, grammar, punctuation, clarity, writing style. Sometimes it gives like sentence suggestions. So just, doing all the writing that I've been doing, this has been super helpful. Another tool is the Equator Network. This is a really helpful thing if you're looking to publish. And, of course, some people wait till after they graduate to publish. Some programs require you to publish your papers before you graduate. Luckily, my school doesn't do that. But even if you're in a class, so you can use the Equator Network to see kind of formatting for a certain type of paper you're going to write. So say you're in a class and you need to write a systematic review, or you're writing a systematic review for your dissertation, you can use the Equator Network, go in there, kind of search, like this is the type of paper I'm doing. You can put your methodology, like I'm doing a quantitative study. It will then spit back to you a bunch of reporting guides, different templates, so showing you what goes in each section. So this is a standard type of title. Consider including these things in your title, include things in your abstract, like details on what you need to put in your method section for a certain type of study. So I could go in, search systematic review, and then there's standardized templates or guidelines that would help me be able to write my paper a lot more successfully than just going in there blank. That has saved me a lot of time. I think one of my professors told me about it, and it's been a game changer for sure. And then I know that they do like training courses and things like that if you want to explore it any further. If you also are curious about what type of studies are in your research could potentially be published in, and you don't know what journals to even, like, you don't know where to start, where even to look, a tool that's someone in my grad school journey has given to me was Jane, or the Journal Author Name Estimator. So it's a free online tool that can be used to find articles that are similar to articles that you're writing or that you may have recently finished and you're looking to publish. You can search by abstract, keywords, and things like that. And this has been really helpful because I could see, okay, the Journal of AIDS and Behavior typically publishes articles like the one I'm writing. And so I can go in, look at their journals, look at articles, and kind of really just get tips and potentially submit to them if it's a good fit. And so it also includes resources that help authors determine the most appropriate in-scope journal to publish their manuscripts. The more just quick, like, tech tools that I've just used throughout grad school, I'm sure a lot of people use these now: Google Calendar, Microsoft To Do. You can also use that kind of in, like, I think you can get it as a plugin in your calendar. Trello, Evernote, Microsoft OneNote, Dropbox, Google Drive. I live by Google Drive. That's how students we can do project, we can share. And then Pocket, if you have a bunch of tabs like me open on your computer all the time, this really helps. And then in terms of just your documentation, you're gonna get a lot of papers throughout your time in grad school. It just is what it is. So, if you're more of a physical person, like you like storing your things in person, I would say just, build a shelf, kind of have a filing cabinet for everything you want. There's templates on literature review, things from the library that you can use and that I print off to look at when I'm doing writing or anything, class assignments or whatnot. You can make sure you label everything accordingly. You can categorize all your research ideas into different folders. So of course, like, I've done research in different populations. So I have a section kind of in my storage, like, for research on Black women, and then HIV research with youth experiencing homelessness, which was the previous population I used to do work among. So I have found that to be really helpful because it keeps me stay organized, keeping everything separate. And then of course use Dropbox, Google Drive, those things like that for huge files or things that you need to share. And then of course your email, I created a separate email, like it was like a separate personal email for school and graduate school research and things like that. And I know, of course, you'll get a school email, but sometimes that can fill up too. So just find a way to organize your thoughts. And then, of course, like through grad school, it's a stressful process. You're going to be busy all the time. People may not understand, but you have to pour into yourself so you're able to provide and give good work and get to the finish line. So I would say commit to a hobby that has nothing to do with school. And that's kind of where Lex with the Text came from. I started school and I've always been a reader, but I needed to I was overwhelmed and stressed, and I needed to find a way to just have a completely separate outlet. So I was reading a lot. I had started back reading again. I was like posting on Instagram, like, just on my story and stuff, what I was reading. And a lot of people were like, what, like, you have great books that you read. Like, so I just made a separate page, and it was just to be fun. And it ended up being another source of just small income for me while I'm in school. And it's something that's fun. It doesn't feel like a job. And it's been a way for me to find connections to my community while I'm doing my grad program. So that's just my example, but I know people have so many different things they can get into. Incredibly, like, I was used to go to like yoga all the time. There's just totally different things you can like dive into and kind of help you keep that balance. So just reducing stress to avoid burnouts is important. So you want to have a stress-free mind. So, having an outlet or something that can just spur your creativity is important. Don't give up exercising while you're in school. It may get busier, but you really want to like make sure you are keeping that at the forefront as well. Because, if you're not managing your stress, a lot of students have developed stress-related different issues. I know some of us, myself included, I was getting IBS because I wasn't, exercising as much as I want to and just fleshing out my system and eating right. And so I had to like get myself together and, shake back. Like if anything falls off, you'll feel that in your body. So that was a lesson learned for me. And then of course, watching what I eat. It's so easy to kind of still be in the college mindset, like, oh, let me just get a snack or something that I can make fast, throw in the microwave. But intentionality about eating and what I'm feeding myself is what is going to make me produce good work and, being able to be successful and reach graduation. And so some last things before I close out, just be resilient through your program. It is going to be some pressure. There's going to be great days. There's going to be some hard days. I've definitely had my ups and downs in my program. I've had to switch projects, start a dissertation topic over. It's been a journey, but I've tried to focus on these 4 key areas to kind of keep myself grounded. I go to therapy every week as well. And so I check in with my therapist about this, just not overthinking things like, oh my God, what did that professor mean by this? Or not taking like dissertation edits personally, like, oh gosh, she's just ragging on me. Everything is to make you better. And so to keep that in the forefront, don't overthink. Try postponing your worries. So things that you just cannot worry about in the moment, like you have to put it aside and find the time to think about that another time. If you just feel like, okay, I'm worried about this, but you have some time, just put it aside, give yourself a break to just, debrief, think about it, and then you can move after you've had time. And so incorporate positive distractions. For me, that would be reading. I love audiobooks. And by the way, you can get audiobooks for free from your library. Of course, you can use Audible, Scribd. There's another one called Libro FM. Those are all great places where you can download audiobooks or ebooks. And that's a distraction for me. If I have a long day writing, I love just either watching a show or TV, but mostly getting on the couch or in the bed with a good book, and I'll just have my headphones in, and I can even do it if I'm in the car, if I'm driving. doing dishes, just whatever. That's been super helpful. And then something my therapist says to me all the time: be kind to yourself, treat yourself with loving kindness, and just think about you first. You cannot give back to the world with all the skills that you've learned in grad school if you kind of neglect yourself through your process. You just have to, find peace, give yourself grace and love, and always, pat yourself on the back, because this is hard work. Not everybody can handle grad school, so we're up for it. And so that's all I have. If there's any questions, and hopefully I'm right at 30 minutes.
That was perfect, y'all. Let's give Alexis a round of applause. Throw your reactions in the chat. Throw them in your, the reactions on the Zoom. Thank you so much, Alexis. This was awesome. I think you provided it very quickly, though, a lot of good information. I'm gonna start with saying I've never heard of Jane, and oh my gosh, if I could have used that during my PhD program, y'all. So, I mean, there's so many other gems in there, but personally, that gem was like, I still am gonna need it when I have another paper left to publish.
Yes, like it's the best.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited about that. So there's quite a few questions in here, so let's get to it.
Yay.
Someone asks, any tips for times when one gets writer block and are dealing with perfectionism?
Okay, there's this book that one of the writing instructors at my school gave me. She gave me, it's oh wait, I have it right here. This is so funny. How to Write a Lot. Like this, it's been so helpful, because when I do have writer's block, it encourages you to just write anything. Like it doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to be pretty. Just try maybe even writing something totally separate to what you're actually supposed to be writing. It just helps you kind of get into the groove. And then of course, always, sometimes you just need to take a step back. If your mind, like, so maybe there's a roadblock in terms of a methodology, or you don't know how to, do what you're trying to do. So that, to me, that's how, that's contributed to a lot of my roadblocks that I've faced. And I think just kind of taking back and like doing research, getting away from the writing piece, just like figuring out, looking what other people have done, it does kind of get the juices flowing. And sometimes you just have to be patient with yourself. We'll have weird writing days, but this book was really helpful in just like writing a little bit a day, even if it's just junk. Just getting something down can kind of get you in that groove.
Thank you. There's another question. There were some reading tips you provided a little while ago. Advice for people that are avid note takers to prevent spending too much time annotating. It's a good question.
That's a good question, because I feel like this definitely applies to me. I would definitely say, like, stay away. So for me, I have to physically take notes. I know that sometimes if you're doing like digital note taking, that can be kind of, a distraction. You have your tabs up, you're switching back and forth in between things. So maybe try switching from whatever way you're doing it. If you're a physical note taker, try doing a, digital note taking. There's actually, I think there's like some resources for that. Like you can literally, I think there's like Digio or something that will let you take notes online, or vice versa. There's like little templates that you can print off, like for your binder. You can make your own binder and have like templates focused, different areas, different blocks to help you take notes effectively. I would say you can separate it by like lectures. Like a lot of people will their professor will give you a lecture. So sometimes I'll just print the whole lecture, and that's how I take notes, like directly on the PowerPoint slide or whatnot. But I would definitely say try doing something different than what you typically normally do, and stretching yourself in that way. And you may find, oh wait, I actually work really well like this.
Yeah, I love that. And if I can offer another bit, is I would time it. I would set a timer for 25 minutes, or however long it takes you roughly to read an article. And that also puts a little fire under you to get it done. And then whatever is there, we have to move on. We've read the article. If you spend an hour on the article, it's time to move to another article. Right?
Yeah, it's more than time.
Yeah, but I get it, because if I find a good article, I'm gonna spend the time. But if it's not that great, it's time to move on.
Yeah.
I said that lovingly, not. Another question here: how do you handle the competition among your peers? Do you feel the competition, or does it vary at schools and different maybe departments?
So it does vary with schools, and because I've been to so many schools, I feel like there was more competition at my HBCUs, but in my current program, I don't feel that as much. I think everyone's just in their own little silos. This is even pre-COVID. Of course, we're totally siloed now. No one, I mean, you see people on social media, but prior to that, yeah, I didn't have that experience. I think when you, one thing you want to go into grad school with is knowing that everybody is, you're paying for this, or you're getting paid to go to school. So I would say everyone's on their journey. Everyone's pulling the skills they need to. So you don't really need to have to compete with someone. Your research topic could be completely different. You might have a completely different career goal. You might want to go into industry, and so-and-so wants to go into academia. I know people compete over publications, but that's also just that's a factor that is impacted by so many different things. So you can't compare yourself, based on this person as other publications. They could have been working on a project with someone, and they just could happen to be put on the paper. Like, there's different things that you just have to keep in mind. Go in thinking, okay, this is my journey, this is my race. I can't compare myself to someone else. And I had a close friend that she finished, I think, like, we were together the whole time, kind of keeping each other accountability. And then she finished like a whole year before me, and I'm still here. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And yes, like, we're humans. Naturally, you're going to feel that way, but always just say, shake back. This is your personal journey. This is like, you can't compare your progress to someone else's, because a PhD is so independent.
That's right. It's your race.
Or a thesis, master's. Yeah.
It's your race. I love that. Someone asks, say you have 3 things to do outside of working hours. So say you have more than the time that you've kind of allotted for your work, or the 40 hours rather. How do you get it all done without suffering?
So the question is, like, you have more to do after work hours.
Yeah.
And then
they want to get it done.
I feel like I'm still working on this. There has to be like a stopping point. Like, you have to, sometimes, like, you're just locked in and getting things done. But in order for you to continue, or to not hit a wall, or to hit burnout, or like fall off the map, because sometimes you can go so hard that you drive yourself into the wall, and then you're a couple of weeks you haven't written anything. So I think, like, you have to have a forced stop. Once again, like, use those apps and stuff like that really alert you. You get an accountability partner, like, to tell you to stop. You can't do more work than you can. I would say just talk to your research advisor, or just that you need more time. Like, I think we have to ask more for our boundaries, and I've definitely done that myself. I was getting caught up with things this summer, and I just had to send an email and be like, I need an extension. And that's totally fine, because people are willing to do that, and most people need an extension for things in their lives themselves. So I've had good receptions to that, but it's definitely still a journey. I still find myself just working into the wee hours, or still doing things after hours that I know I should have just let things overlap. If it's not done, just have peace about it. Be like, I'll get it done when I get it done.
Love that. I think that's just a reality sometimes, right? But if it's like every single week, it is time to, like, look at your load, look what you're accepting, saying you have time for, and you have to do some readjustment. Someone asked, when should we expect to have access to the recorded sessions? That's my question. Available to you all next week. I have to do a bit of editing and some cleaning up. So you should have an email from me next week with the sessions. Here's a question for you, Alexis. What do you look for in an advisor or mentor?
I'm sorry, like it went out for a second.
Sure. What do you look for in an advisor / mentor?
Ooh, okay. So I'll start with advisor. So I got really lucky and my advisor has been so supportive. So I would say the things that I really love that she does is that we do monthly check-ins. Like even if like I didn't even get any writing done or just nothing happened, we do monthly check-ins and it makes me feel like she is invested. And half the time I'll forget about our check-in and she will initiate it. How's everything going? How's writing? Haven't heard from you. Everything good? Even if I had like personal issues, like she was aware, I felt comfortable enough to be able to like tell her this is what's going on right now. And so, gosh, that was number one. Like you want an advisor that will literally be there for you. And of course, like to a certain extent, it varies from person to person, but someone just who at least shows you that they're invested in your journey. They want you to have all the resources. There are good advisors that have things that come across their desk and you want them to like share them with you, like, so make them aware of your goals. And if they see something like a research or a conference opportunity, my advisor, she just always just sends me, FYI, and it'll just be Evelyn, check this out, check this out. She's name dropped. She helped me get one of my first jobs when I was in my program as a research assistant. So definitely someone who is tapped in and, who's not secluded. They're willing to help. They're approachable because they're more willing to share things with you, share resources, share tips and opportunities. And of course, like, let's see. And then I'll go to mentor. For a mentor, someone who's just going to keep it real. Because most times a mentor has been someone who's gone through the exact same thing you've gone through or the same process. So mentors that have been really effective to me are willing to, talk on the phone with me or, not even FaceTime, but like I've gotten on Zoom with mentors and just debriefed. I've been able to like ask some questions without shame and they tell me the truth. It's like, you don't want to have a mentor that's just like telling you what the school wants, a rule follower mentor. You want someone who will keep it real with you. Yeah, I think that's the number one for a mentor.
Yeah, I think that's critical. And thank you for teasing out the difference between an advisor and a mentor. Not all advisors are mentors and not all mentors are going to be your advisor. So it is okay if you're not the same person, and don't think you've somehow made a bad decision or a wrong decision because your advisor isn't a mentor.
Yeah.
It is the building is not on fire. I promise. You would love for that to be the case, but it just really, the reality is it isn't always the case. Some advisors have certain skills, and that skill is like research. That skill is building you up to be a productive person in your discipline. And they're maybe not able to do all of the kind of soft, I don't like essential critical skills. I don't like to say soft skills, but other skills that aren't technical or related to your discipline. They may not be able to help refine those for you, and that's how we have to, have mentors as well.
Yeah.
This is the last question I see, but y'all, we have a bit of time, so feel free if you want to throw another question in here. We can definitely answer it. What other university-based resources would you recommend? I think you said something like Digio, I think is in there. So if there's anything else, please share.
And I'm looking on I just want to make sure I'm saying it correctly. Digio. I'm not finding it, so I think I'm spelling it wrong, but I'm going to send it to you so you can share with everyone maybe, or I'll figure out a way to get it to people, or you can send me a message on social media and I'll double check that. But I would say other resources. Let's see, the library, most school libraries come through. If I'm like writing a certain type of paper, the writing center is like always helpful. They'll send you like examples, like students who graduated that have like allowed the school to have their old papers. looking through those at your university has been so helpful. Make sure you're also after school tapped into whatever their research online site portal is, so you can have access to all the journals. So certain journals are so big that only institutions, not individuals, will allow you access to kind of look through their articles. So, you know, if I go into the VPN, I can kind of go through the school and get into a lot of different journals that I previously wouldn't have had access to. And most websites, even nowadays, you can be on the journal website. So you can go to like PubMed or something. This is if you're health, but you can go to PubMed and it'll even like load the school, like, oh, this is at your institution. I think Springer does that. Just certain journals or research places where you're looking for articles will do that, and you can just make sure you log into your school so you have full access to everything. You can get full text articles more than you would if you would have just be going on the website by yourself as an individual. Let's see. Yeah, I think other things the schools has, I would go to the events. The student events are always super helpful because that's where I meet the other students and then I would really encourage it now. I mean, I don't know how much people are going back outside for schools, but like my schools were starting to have in-person events, but things were virtual for a while. So even going to those events, I connected with people who were in my research area. So it may seem like, oh gosh, I don't have time to go to all the student association meetings or whatever, but I would definitely encourage it, or try to go to people's talks. If they have a different, like a lecturer coming on campus, always go to those, because people are so connected that they may know someone that you could potentially work with in the future. So any opportunity to meet other and network, I would jump on it.
Love it. Okay, now we have 3 minutes and we have 3 questions. So we're gonna
quick.
Okay, yes. So first, what is your writing schedule?
Every day I go to a coffee shop. And even if I don't get much done at the coffee shop, I have to write like once I gotta do, a little bit a day.
All right, love that. Have you found graduate student organizations to be valuable use of your time? You kind of just touched on it, but you can give us a yes or no.
In my first few years of the program, when I was in the coursework part, yes, because the students were also taking classes, so I was seeing them regularly for student association meetings, and I was like kind of in a leadership capacity. But I mean, we were confiding each other with school stuff too, so it helped me overall really well. Yeah.
Thank you. Last question. How do you plan out your assignments, reading, writing, etc., and how do you make sure things stay balanced?
I have one of those big like desk calendars, and I literally have to physically put it on, put it on the calendar, put it in my phone. I have to put whatever's going on the calendar, even if it's Google, Outlook, everything. It's across the board, like making sure things, alerts are set on my phone. Let me see. And then what was it another part of the question? I'm blanking.
It's like, how do you make sure things stay balanced? So I guess, are you looking at and making sure like there's break time or relaxation in there as well?
I don't pencil in breaks, but I do know some people that do that. They literally have timers. Some people set timers like 2 hours or not even 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I don't do that, but I try to be cognizant. Like if I can feel my body needs a break, I have to get up. I have to go take a walk, go walk my dog. Like those in between moments when I can feel myself restricting or getting overwhelmed or fatigued, I have to, that's my stopping point. So just kind of feeling yourself out every time, and then kind of list your to-do list, and then fill in your break time as needed.
Perfect. Well, Alexis, we're ending right on time. You all, let's again throw some reactions in the chat or on your Zoom. Thank you so much for everything you shared. Like, I learned something new today, so I'm always grateful to learn something new. You shared so much. You've encouraged us. Now we've got all the tools to get things ready for the new academic year. Y'all, we've got 10 minutes to the next session, so go grab some water or sit at your desk. But we'll be back in 10 minutes with our last session of the Grad School Success Summit. So Alexis, thank you again, and I'll see everyone else soon.
Bye. Thanks.